Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another tutorial and today we will be talking all about colors and also a few tips and tricks that you can implement to your coloring to help make it a easy and nice experience. I will be going through lots of different tips and tricks to help you choose colors, how to compose your image, and also some general tips and tricks in overall making your coloring experience as easy and joyful as it possibly can be. I'm super excited to share this video with you, and without further ado, grab yourself a good hot warm beverage, get cozy, and let's do some coloring. So before we get into tonight's video, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your beautiful response to my tutorials. It makes me so happy to read your comments and to hear how you enjoy them. That just makes me so happy, and I truly have to pinch myself that I actually get to do this and share my passion with so many beautiful and kind-hearted, like-minded souls. I'm so excited each and every morning to log on to see what you guys wrote, and it just truly makes me so happy. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your enthusiasm and your outpour of love. My wish and need to give all of that love back to you is immense. So I'm so excited about this tutorial series because it gives me a way to just chat along with you, and hopefully there will be some things along the way that you can pick up to help elevate your own coloring style or your coloring pages. So I'm super excited for today's tutorial, and I'm super excited about continuing on this page. So we did a really cool job last time with this sky. I really love the play of colors and how they all blend so nicely into each other, and I loved reading so much that you guys tried it out as well, coloring along with me, and that just makes me so excited. So this is looking really good. I want to keep on going in this Japanese lo-fi style like I talked about last time, so I've made up my mind a little bit about what kind of colors we will use on the page, and I'm so excited to get into it. So before we start, I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about some little tips and tricks to help make the coloring session and experience as nice and smooth and worry-free as possible. So before we get started on tonight's page, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the materials that we are using because there's been so many comments asking me in particular about the Ohuhu markers, because some of you are using different kind of markers and are having some issues with streaks or it bleeding through. And one of the big issues that a lot of you seems to be having is, oh by the way, I love how this looks like on the back side. The back sides always make me so excited. One of you did comment that the back sides truly look like watercolor painting, and that's really true. Like, I enjoy so much how the back sides look like. Anyway, I digress. So some of you have been writing me and telling me that you're experiencing some bleed through and then back onto the page. So I don't have that problem at all, and I guess it might have something to do with the paper that I'm using, because as you can see, I really use this. since a long time. This is only my second watercolor paper, and I have the other one lying there and it's looking exactly the same. At one point, because I started out in the beginning with it was around Halloween, so I had very dark colors and I didn't have a problem with it bleeding through, but when I do very bright colors, you just simply see the ink through. And that can be a little confusing sometimes because you see this pattern then through your page, and that was simply the only reason why I then went on to a new one. And I kind of like how this looks. It's somehow a remake of all the pages that I've done. And this is simply just a very random watercolor paper. It is a pretty thick one though, and I do think that maybe help a little because this is a 300 GSM, and the one that I have here I picked up at my local art store. It's their own brand, so it's really like just a very simple, cheap block of watercolor paper, and it was simply just something that I had, and even I just reused the back side. And I've done now, I think, I don't know, around 30, 40 pages, and this is at least over half of them, so I'm really only wasting, if you like, one page per, let's say, 20 pages. So it's really not that costly, and as you see, you can still use the backside for watercolor. So I do think, because I've read this from very many of you, that you have the problem that the wet ink goes down to the paper below and then up again on the page, which then obviously creates a problem. And I never ever had a problem with that, and I do think that it maybe has to do with just it being a very thick watercolor paper, so it absorbs and can really grab all that excess ink, and it dries pretty quickly, so it never really, even if I would go over on the same spot, it never comes back up on the page. And you really truly see that on the back side. I don't have any of the old ink going back onto the page, so I see some of you guys having big issues with that, and I wanted to say that in case that helps, because I really want all of you to have as carefree and nice experience as possible when you color, because it should just be something to enjoy and relax, and if you have to struggle along the way, that takes away a lot of the joy in it. So I highly recommend like a really thick watercolor paper. Like I said, it doesn't have to be any fancy brand or anything. Just grab what you can get in your local store or on Amazon. I wouldn't recommend using, do I maybe have this one here? So I have here the plastic or the silicone that comes with each Ohuhu set. So when you buy, I have one here. So when you buy one of these Ohuhu sets, a plastic sheet like that will come in each package alongside with these swatch cards, which is so much fun to fill out. I always enjoy that a lot. These little sheets come with each set, but I don't, like I mentioned this in one of the first videos, I never tried using this simply for the reason that it's too small. Like, you would have to move it along, and I don't really want to think about that when I'm coloring, because that is just doomed for disaster, because then you will go down here and forget about it, and then it bleeds through to the next page. So that was the reason why I never really tried this, but I read that a lot of you have, and that is good for blending because it stays wet, but that it then also comes back up on the page. So I don't recommend using this one. Some have said too that you can use simply any old cardstock or carton. but it simply just comes down to what you prefer, and try out using what you have laying around at home if you have some old art supplies, and then see how that behaves together with the paper and the ink. So we will then start out with some colors. Like I said, I really want to continue in this very Japanese lo-fi shopfront, and it always helps to check out your swatch cards. That's why I really truly love these, because it makes it so much simpler to just grab a feeling of where you want to go and truly see how the colors look like on paper. And to just explain my sets for a second, I started out with the 48 mid-tones, and I'm in the end extremely happy that I started out with this one, because one, I absolutely love the colors in this one, and these are, I didn't know it at the time, but these are actually pretty rare colors. Most of these I don't even have in the 160 set. So the fun part about Ohuhu, what I truly love about their sets, is that you can build your collection gradually and do so without ending up having too many markers double. So if you start out with a smaller set, you don't have to be scared of ending up having everything double if you later want to upgrade. And that's something that I truly enjoy, because that, at least for me, made the step of choosing where to invest and where to start a lot easier, because I knew that if I choose a 48 color set, that I wouldn't necessarily do anything wrong if I later, when I then did save up a little more money or could wish for something for my birthday or Christmas, that you don't end up wasting colors, which in the end anyways, it's not too bad, because when they run empty, you have a new one. And I will be talking a little bit more about that later, but I have slowly a few that starts running empty, and I have to be very honest, that's beyond my expectations, as these last so long, and I color a lot and I'm not too shy on using a lot of ink, even if I layer the colors double. So I only now, and that's now 5 months into coloring, start feeling that some of the colors that I use all the time, and then I mean all the time, they start running low. So for example, my beloved beige green, which I used for literally everything green in the beginning, is starting to run empty, and it's very sad because I absolutely love this hue. But the cool part about that is that I'm forced to start experimenting with other colors, which I in the end enjoy a lot. So I have to say that these last a long time. So enough talking for now. So let's start looking at what colors we are gonna use for this picture. So when I set out to choose colors, so when it comes to choosing colors, I usually don't think too much about it. I solely go after what really feels good. And that might sound a little strange, but I mostly just look at the colors on the swatch sheet and know what kind of direction I want to go. For example, here I want to use still a lot of purples and pinks, and then I just simply look at what colors feel good, and everybody will have their own preferences to what colors you enjoy, and that's truly what I love doing. I am lightly obsessed with purple for obvious reasons, So my pages always have at least some purple in them. I just love how these purple hues look like, and I'm a huge Prince fan, so that does influence my love for purple a lot. So for starting out, we will be using a little bit of these, and I'm super excited about this little selection. There's a lot of colors here that I have not used together before, so we will try them out together. And the idea is to use the play of strong pinks together with very cool cold toned purples, so we can have a nice strong vivid colors and a lot of play with shadow. So this will be the first selection. There will obviously come a couple in addition to that, like it always does. I think we're gonna start with the vivid pink and see where we go from there. So we will use this vivid pink as the base color and then build it gradually with the light violet and vivid purple. And I really enjoy lately building shadows with 3 colors, like have one base layer, then another one, and then another one. It just gives this really deep rich shading, and it makes the picture look so vivid. So we're gonna try that together today. And I truly love to start with the brightest color and then just build your way from there. Like that. It looks very red on camera, but I promise you it's a very strong pink. So then we're gonna continue with the light violet, and I'm super curious how this is gonna blend together. And the trick about layering so many colors when the ink is still wet is that it will bleed way more, so you have to be super careful bringing it out to the lines and rather keep a little distance, because it bleeds way more than when the page is dry. Oh, that looks so cool. And this already looks really cool, but I found that when I add then a third shadow, in this case the vivid purple, it just gets even richer. And then you just pull this one a little further down than the other ones. Oh, that looks so cool. Very dramatic. I love it. So with time, you will automatically get a feeling to what colors go well together. So I want to continue with a very cool toned roof. So I think we're gonna go for the dark violet light together with a pale blue violet. I tried these two together in another video and I really liked how that looked like, so we're gonna try that now as well. I start with a slightly brighter color of both. It's the dark violet light, and then I think I will go ahead and do the entire roof. And that's another thing that I really love about these markers. I never seem to get any streaking lines at all. It just ends up very, very smooth and nice. That's why I always say I rather would recommend getting a smaller set if you're on a budget and treat yourself with quality markers than getting cheaper markers and then more. But that already looks really cool. So we're going to continue by shading the roof with the pale blue violet, and I'm super curious how this will look like. The shading of the roof will help to differentiate also the roof from the background, because right now they're pretty similar. So we're going to use that to make it look different. I just love doing shadows so much. It's just so much fun to play around with the shapes. Oh, that looks super cute. That is super cool. And there truly isn't any right or wrong here when it comes to where the light comes from, because this is a night sky. So since we don't have a moon in this picture, we have a lot of stars. You basically just choose where you want the light to come from, and right now it's kind of coming in from above, maybe even a little behind from the left side, so that will cast in the shadow on the side of the tiles. Like that. And as you see, this one dries out to be very similar. So we could go in with a little bit of either with bluebell or lobelia. I think we're going to go for lobelia. So we're just going to go in and give it just a little bit more. And you just see already the difference between both sides, how much just 3D effect that adds. That looks really cool. So we're gonna continue with these 3 colors that we used on the sign, and we're gonna just make these little thingies here as well. And as And with these tiny areas, you really have to be careful with not going too close to the lines, because they will bleed no matter what. And since I want to make this very gradual effect, I will go in while the ink is still wet with a light violet, and we just go from down to up. Now I'm just gonna repeat that on all three. Then we go in with light violet again, and just that looks super cool. And to just give it some point of contrast, I'm gonna go in and switch these colors around to not make it too heavy. So I will basically use a brighter pink in the footprints and the same brighter pink on these. So I'm gonna fill these like I always love creating these little shop fronts. I always feel like you're basically creating a whole little brand. I think I'm gonna go in with a shadow pink. And I'm really curious what you guys would love for me to talk about. If there's any specific topics or something that you would love for me to explain a little more in detail, I would love to make videos about what you guys want to hear about. So we now have a very nice pink, and then we just have to figure out what kind of colors could be a nice shading for that. Pale lilac. Oh, you know what, we're gonna try with a red gray 12. This is a warm gray, so I love to use these complementary colors when I, for example, use pink or red. Then I love to combine that with a red gray. Same when I use blue tones with the blue gray and greens, because it really makes that very rich color. I'm also gonna add some pale lilac because it's a little aqua. Wow, it's a little too gray for my taste. But this perfect coincidence. I call that a perfect mistake. That just looks so good together. And that's really how I end up with a lot of my pages. I just try something, see if I like it, and if not, I just simply change it. And this way you can then go about giving these little details some shading as well. Oh, that looks super cool. Very nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and color this one in a slightly similar but different tone. So I'm gonna give it the same base. So I'm gonna give it the same base color of dark violet light, but shaded too with some mauve in there, just to get it a little more warmth. And then just add a little bit of Leo Bella. So it's already starting to look really cute and moody. So I want to continue with the greenery, and I think we're gonna go with some cooler colors. So I want to show you guys a little bit where I always pull my colors from. So this is my bamboo marker organizer from Ohuhu, and I just absolutely love this shelf. I mean, look at that. That just looks so aesthetically pleasing. As your marker collection is growing, it could really be smart to invest in something like this, because I found the 160 set bag very difficult to navigate where the colors are as you go along coloring. So this really helps to pick the right colors. So we're gonna go ahead with the G9 Meadow Green and the Dusty Jade Green and Green Shadow. So this is the little collection that we just picked out, and we're gonna again start with the brightest color, that is the Green Shadow, and I'm just gonna go ahead and color the entire greenery with this tone because it's pretty much late at night, and that gives off this cool light, for especially since the sunset comes from behind, so it will cast this very cool shadow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and color this entire space with these three colors. And since this is a bigger area, I don't really mind that the ink dries before we go back in with the shadows. We can use that to our advantage and make the shadows look really cool in a different way. like that. Then we're gonna go in with the G9 Meadow Green and just add a little more depth or greenery. That looks pretty cool. It's really no right or wrong way to do greenery. It's just what you like, your style. Me, for example, I've never done greenery like this before, and I always love to try out some new stuff, and it looks pretty cool, I have to say. So now we could go about figuring out how we would like to shadow this area. You could argue that the booth itself would cast some light, so we could make it go like this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You could of course argue that there will be some shadow cast from the bench, so you could go in and just add that like this. That looks really cool. And the fun part about this is that, you know, it doesn't really have to be that realistic. I mean, there's nothing realistic about two bears sharing a ramen here. But it's so much fun to mix a little bit of realistic into it, because it just makes the picture look really vibrant. So we're gonna go back again with the same kind of angle that we did over here. Just do it like that and have a nice transition. I like it. And notice that I left the tips of the grass with a base color, because it adds a very nice highlight to it. So we're gonna continue with the dusty jade green and add even more depth to our nice little image. So I'm gonna pull this one not as far as I did the other one. Oh my god, I like that. That was unintentional. We're trying stuff out together, guys. So I'm just gonna try my best to replicate this little freestyle on the other side. And I really love how these three colors go together. That looks so cool. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna add some more shadows to the leaves as well. The triple shading technique, it just gives it that very rich, nice depth. Oh, I love it. So now I have to choose how I will go about shading the grass. Oh, I love how this is coming together. The colors just look very nice together. I love these cool tones. So if the light comes from above, we could argue that this part would be light and this one dark, rather than the other way around. And I think it could add like a nice contrast to this part being dark, because if not we will have this one patch of dark and it could be a little difficult to read the image. So this is a slightly darker of the same tone, and I'm just gonna go in and add some grass details. And just to make this space look a little less like a carpet and more like grass, we're just gonna add some of the same. So I'm gonna go and do the same colors on the underside. Starting off with the dark violet light. So, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create some shadows with the pale blue violet, although it will end up turning very similar to this base color. I will use this one to make the bigger shadows and then go in with the Leo Bella. Ah, this looks so cute. So now I'm very honestly just gonna go a little freestyle with the shadow, because obviously this is underneath this, and you could argue, or you could say that we have a light coming from the front as well. And I like to make these kind of decisions just to see what serves the picture in the best way. That's why I always say it doesn't necessarily have to be realistic. If the shadow is going to look good in giving it a little more depth, if the shadows are underneath the chairs, then go for it. So I'm just going to add a little shadow here. And I'm just gonna go in on the entire thing and add a little bit more shadow with the Lobiera. And I don't think that I'm saying the name right. Just gonna add some shadows under here as well. think that's cool. That looks really nice. And when you see these two colors come together in these, it already looks super cool. So for the wooden stools, we will be using the buttercup yellow and thin permission. So I'm just gonna go ahead, pop the base color on here. And just to give the picture a little bit more cohesive feel, I want to repeat this color somewhere else because it really helps give it that very nice put together feeling. And I also feel like the wooden tones would go very well with the purple and the pink. So I will repeat that for the counter as well. So then I will go over with thin permission to create the shadows. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some more dark brown. Oh, that looks super dramatic. Oh, we love ourselves some dramatic images. I'm gonna try. Oh, that looks cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that looks so cool. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. That looks so cool. Oh my god. I never did that before. Wow. looks really cool. Help me. Wow. It's exactly the effect that I wanted to have, that it comes like from the light up above. So then we're going to go with impermission and shade what's happening on the counter. Like that. I think I want to go for 2 pandas because we have so much. I anyways love pandas, and we have so much wooden going on here that it could be a little confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and use the brightest gray that I have. It's the Cool Gray 20, and simply because it mimics kind of a white-ish. And also do the dark spots with a Cool Gray 2, and maybe go over that with a neutral Gray 07. Yeah, for the darker panda spots. And it would kind of fit you with the whole Asian thing that we're going for. That's so cute. He's naked, but he has slippers on. And then go ahead and just add a little bit of gray. We're using this guy as reference. So we're gonna go in and make a little like this. That looks so cute. But we have to make it a little darker. We're gonna repeat those colors in his uniform. So I'm gonna go ahead with this pink, like this, and maybe use, if that's like their signature color. Light violet, and just So we've created this really nice, vibrant explosion of colors. I'm gonna go in to warm it all up a little bit with my favorite combination for light, and I will do so at least at the very top of the image. And then just oh my god. The final details are coming together, and I really love how moody this piece looks. I'm a little trying to figure out what color so I'm trying to figure out what color I will use on the last two sides, and I might just go ahead and make them yellow as well. And there we go. Ugh, this looks so cute. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the last missing pieces up here. And I really love how this page came together. I think it came out exactly how I dreamed for it to look like. Oh, I'm so happy right now. So I'm just gonna pop on some highlights here, and That looks super cool. Wow, I love the roof. So, I think that concludes today's little tutorial. I hope that you could take something away from this, and please let me know in the comments how you liked it, and I would absolutely love to see how your pages turned out. If you post it on any social media, make sure to tag me or send it to me. I would love to see how yours turned out, and I really love what we did with the colors here, and this together with the background really stands out and looks very together, cohesive. So I'm super excited about this one. And it looks very, very deep and rich through all the shading and the color choices that we made. Also that so many colors are picked up and repeated makes it feel very together and cohesive. If there's any topics that you would love for me to talk a little bit more in depth and detail about, let me know in the comments. I would love to dedicate each episode to different topics, so make sure to let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.